This is the fun part of the night, everybody, and a lot of our visitors this evening, I'm sure, have turned up for Pascale's presentation, and thank you for waiting for it. It's an honour for us to have Pascale with us. Why? Because Pascale, in my opinion, in our opinion, embodies the spirit and energy of the Arts for All movement that Arts Access Aotearoa has started. We can't do this without Pascale and her contemporaries around New Zealand. So Pascale is a leader in this area, passionate about making sure that disabled people have access to the arts. It so happens that Pascale is the Education Director for the Accessibility Program at the Royal New Zealand Ballet. And we might have thought that once upon a time, why would disabled people want to go? What are their rights? Who cares? All that stuff. But actually, the arts are for everybody. And for people who would not normally go to the ballet, who can't see, or who can't hear, or who have physical access issues, this is a big deal. So this type of accessibility and open-hearted participation as audience members is being achieved around New Zealand. Pascale's going to talk to us about this now. And this is, and also I can remind everyone that because of this work that she's done, the Royal New Zealand Ballet established an accessibility policy at the board level, which means that this work has to be done. It's embedded in the organisation. So we want to see museums, arts companies, arts organisations, wherever they have a committee or a board running them, for policies like Pascale's accessibility policy to drive the arts access of that. So you can, when we, in New Zealand Sign Language, the welcome, the applause sign is this. So I'd like you all to welcome Pascale Parenteau.
Thank you very much, Richard, for this very kind introduction. It's actually an honor to be asked to talk about the work that I've done in the last 5-6 years as part of the Royal New Zealand Ballet. It's been quite a journey, and I'm very happy to share it with everyone. Before I start my presentation, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm French-Canadian. I married a Kiwi nearly 30 years ago, and I moved to New Zealand in the early 90s. I come to this work in a very humble and honest way, and it's out of my personal experience with disability. I'm a very proud mother of a 16-year-old child who was diagnosed with being high-functioning autistic at the age of 3 years old. And my second child happened to have no 3-dimension in the vision and a bit of a wobbly left eye. So people would say that I'm very unlucky, but contrary to what people think, I feel like I've been very blessed, because since that time, it has changed my lens of how I perceive and I see the world around me. And I feel quite blessed by that. And so since then, I've been always thinking of ways to integrate my passion for the arts. I'm a trained violinist. When I was a kid, I used to draw all the time. I wanted to become an architect. And now I work for the ballet, for the dance world. So I always want to find ways to integrate my passion for the arts with making it accessible for everybody. So I just want to explain that this essence, I think this is the essence and the core of my motivation for all the work I've done. It happens, and then it's in New Zealand for the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm happy to share it. I also have a presentation, so let me see if I can get that up on screen. Dawa, can you let me know if it's up?
She's up. Looks good.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So my presentation is in 3 parts. First, I would like to share my own journey at developing an accessibility policy for the Royal New Zealand Ballet. The second part is I would like to describe to you the amazing impact it had on the entire company, the dancer, the staff, and the knock-on effect it had overall on everything we do moving forward, which was not expected. It was not anticipated. And then I would like to conclude with maybe some tip and some recommendation very humbly, and then maybe a little overview of what's happening now with this COVID and the impact it has on the company right now. So I will finish with that. So for the people that I've been requested to describe the slide of my presentation. So the first one, the title of the presentation is Take Us Places We Have Never Gone, the Royal New Zealand Ballet Accessibility Journey. There's 4 images in the back. On the right-hand side, you have one of our dance educators teaching some woman offender in the prison of Auckland. In the middle, there's these charming, smiling children having a taste of their first touch tour, playing with a wooden nutcracker. And then on the top left corner, you have one of our ballerina with a beautiful pink tutu greeting one of her fans in the foyer following a relaxed performance. So without ado, let me talk to you about how it started. So let me put you back. 2014, just got a job as education manager for the Royal New Zealand Ballet. It's in May. In October, there's the first Art Access network meeting in Wellington, and I'm kind of in one of the newer stuff, and then people recommend that I'm the one representing the company at that meeting. So here I go. I was blown away. What people were talking about, that they were making time to get together and discuss what was happening in accessibility, and the wonderful people I met. I came back to my office and I said to myself, what is the Royal New Zealand Ballet doing in accessibility? And from that date, and that was in October 2014, I made it my mission to convince my boss, the artistic director and the executive director, and all the senior manager that was something worthwhile to have a look and to do. And I recall that it took me 3 attempts to try to get a meeting with these very busy people. And I started setting up the meeting in October, and I succeeded to put them all in a boardroom with Richard Burge, who kindly accepted to come, and the director of Art Access, and myself in April. And my tactic to convince them to finally do that meeting was on the approach that accessibility will be a good way to develop audiences and reach more customers. It was really interesting, the meeting, and it went well, but it was very obvious that while everybody agreed it was really important, that they were going to revert to whatever they were doing, and it would have quietly just kind of be forgotten and without trace. So when I saw that, then I volunteered not only to be the representative of the Royal New Zealand Ballet to all the future Art Access network meeting, but I put my hands up and I asked permission to write accessibility and inclusion policy for the company. So they all said, yeah, very great idea. If you do it, you do it. So, but I realized that actually it's not that easy, and it's something I've never done before. And where to start. And not only you need to know what it looks like, but you have to answer a question like how and who and when. It was actually quite complex. So then I thought, okay, how to start doing something like that. So my first step was to examine what we were doing already. And apparently at the time, there was the ballet company was offering a free companion seat to all disabled ticket holder. But it was not very easy first to find out that we were offering that. And it seemed like nobody in the company or in the general public knew that it was actually available. So at least I knew that that was something in somewhere in the pipeline, but not very visible, let's say. So I started with that. And then the second thing was, well, all my budget were already signed off for 2015. There was no point to reinvent the wheel. So I thought, is there some activities that we can easily adapt and slightly modified so that we can make it easier for people with disability or therefore blind to participate. So the first one that came to my mind was the Royal New Zealand Ballet always offered tour visit of the home. And I thought, well, that would be relatively easy to engage a sign interpreter and to come along and then do the tour with us. And then it will be great because the dancer bouncing on the spring floor will be fantastic for the deaf people to feel and come and watch a bit of class and then come into the department, costume department. So that was a good example. And this photo, let me describe. So it's been taken in the costume department. It's just a few of the first people who took part in our touch tour, sign language touch tour. And there's a mix of RNZB staff, the sign interpreter, the Aotearoa staff, and mothers and children, and a couple of elderly people. The other thing that I looked at doing then was collaborating with other organizations. So that's been really important in what we've done. I think we are stronger by joining forces. We also share data with different customers. We can reach more people. So we did things with Deaf Aotearoa, like this photo show. We also did things with Vodafone Event Center in Manukau, when we presented a relaxed performance, and of course with Auckland Live in Nicola Owen, who is a audio describer, but also have their own audio describe company. So after doing these few things, I ended up with an accessibility strategy, an action plan, which helped me to write the accessibility policy. So, of course, after that, the document had to be circulated to the organization. It got analyzed by all the department, edited, it got rewrite until everybody was satisfied. And then it took a year before it got presented to the board. So I'm very pleased that after starting the ball rolling in October 2014, that in June 2017, the Royal New Zealand Accessibility Strategy Commitment was signed by the board. This is a long time. Now, people that know me, I'm quite small. I'm like a bit like a rock roller. When I have a bone, I just don't let go. It took a lot of determination, a lot of patience to actually get that through. So I'm extremely proud of it. But why did I do it? I did that so that not only to cover that if or when I leave my road, that the company will continue being committed to accessibility, but that the entire company make it as one of their their priority, and this is part of what they do. This is part of what the Royal New Zealand Ballet do. They committed to it. It's integrated in what they do and how they do this. So that was a very important point when that got all signed off. The other thing, so that was quite a major, this is the big journey up to 2017. So since 2017, just want to give you a very quick overview of what we have done. Some people already know, but just in case, and I'll try to be quite quick on this. I have some slide to kind of, we say an image is 1,000 words, to kind of support what I'm saying. So the Royal New Zealand Ballet since 2015, and thanks to our accessibility policy, this is everything that we've done so far. So we're doing audio description. We've done Romeo and Juliet, which was the first audio described ballet. We've done in 2017, we've done Since the Nutcracker, which was very popular and was 2018. And last year we did Hansel and Gretel, which was fun and energetic. And this year we're doing Sleeping Beauty. So this is one of my favorite photos. It's been taken in the backstage of the Opera House. You can see a row of dancers at the bar doing their company class. And then you can have some children, visually impaired children with their mum, and the dance educator explaining things. And then you can't see that, but there was a pianist and live music going on as well. The other thing that we are doing, we're doing relaxed performance, and we're doing that in partnership with the Vodafone Event Center and with T-Papa. So this photo is a photo of our beautiful dancer, Kirby. She has a gold in purple tutu with matching tiara and necklace, and she is greeting some of the participants that were at the relaxed performance. So this is a meet and greet after the show. The other thing we've done, which you know, is the sign language tour, but this time we open it to school students. So we communicated with some of the school that have this student and invite them to come and have a tour. You can see everybody smiling away, having a look at the costume department. And then the other thing we do that people might not know, because this is a bit behind the scene, is we actually providing dance workshop to all 3 women prisons of New Zealand. So there's a women prison in Wellington, Christchurch, and Auckland. This is a project that is particularly dear to my heart. Richard was talking about inclusion. This is a very important work that we do all year. Actually now, we've just been extended to all year this year in Auckland and Christchurch. And then we have a program that will run later on in Wellington. The other thing we do, we provide now, this is quite recent, in the last 3 or 4 years, we provide fully subsidized buses to Laudersale School to come to our school production of the family show. So this year's the Sleeping Beauty, last year was in Hansel and Gretel, and we did it in Auckland, Christchurch, in Wellington. We get probably about 2,500 children that never been on a bus or never actually been central Auckland to come in and watch a ballet. The photo there is quite exciting. It's a group of high school students running to the Aotearoa Square to go in and spacing to see their first ballet. The other thing that we've done, which I'm extremely proud of, it's a shame that the menu at the bar got cut off, but if you go on the front page of the Royal New Zealand Ballet now, you have, in the main menu, you have first the show, and then after that you have backstage where you can find out about the dancers and the artistic staff. But right after, you have access, and in there you have a drop down, which you can see at the moment. And in that drop down now we have 3 different pages. We have venue access guides, we have accessibility policy, which is there visible for everybody, And then we have the audio description performances. So I'm very proud that now you don't have to look, you know exactly where to find information. So the accessibility is actually very visible. It's on our website, and we have all, so this is, and we have the companion seat, which we apparently always had, but now it's actually written down, visible, and there's all the patron can easily access and the information on our website. So we've done a lot of work in the last 4 or 5 years. That has been quite a journey. The impact has been phenomenal, and I would like to talk about that now. So the impact the policy had on the dancer, the staff, and the entire company, and the knock-on effect overall. So since 2015, it has been amazing to witness the impact and the transformation of all the new accessibility initiative had on the organization. So now, when anybody asks the RNZB dancer or staff, why are you proud of working for the Royal New Zealand Ballet? 100% of the time they will say, because of the work we do in accessibility and in education. Many staff organize their workload so that they can volunteer for some of our activities. And very often I'll have a staff say, hey Pascale, do you need help with your relaxed performance? Or can I come along and help out with the audio describe? People love being part of it. Now that's going to be amazing, and Richard, you're going to love me. The Royal New Zealand Ballet since 2015 reached 8,000 people, 8,000 people through our accessibility and inclusion event alone. All these people are newcomer to RNZB. That's amazing stats. The other thing which is amazing is if you go to a function or a reception after a performance, half of the speech is about accessibility and inclusion initiative that the education team is doing. This is what the artistic director and the executive director talk about when they do their function in the theater. The other thing is that the education team has more than double their funding due to accessibility and inclusion. Every week I have people coming to see me and say, Pascale, I love what you do. We want to give money to the prison. We want to give money to this project. Do you have another project that we can finance? I don't know what's going to happen after the COVID, but it was like that until now. The other thing is little that the marketing knew. The marketing was a little bit reticent because they were worried that if we give too many of the tickets away or if we reduce the price too much, we wouldn't meet our box office target. But what happened is you have people that finally had an opportunity to go to a ballet from the blind community or visually impaired. And now what they do, they buy prime tickets, front row, for them and their partners, full price, as long as they can come to a touch tour. So here we go. We actually made money out of the box office. So very interesting statistic. And the thing that I like the most is that because of the work I've done in this area, I have a lot of organizations now contacting me and asking me, and there's a dialogue between art organization that was in there before, where people ask me advice about something, or how is the best to do this, or what do you think if we were having a go at this? And then an organization inviting me to their event, and I invite them into my event. So I had something like the New Zealand Opera and the APO coming to see me about the prison work and asking advice. Or I invited somebody from Chamber Music New Zealand to come to witness one of our audio describe performance. So it has kind of opened doors in communication between the art organization, which I really like, So that's been really, really positive. So my recommendation, and I'm very humble there, but if I can save trouble and time to someone, I wouldn't want them to work as hard as I did. I'm very happy to share everything I know so that hopefully you'll have a easier ride than I had, and you can go further than I've been so far. So my recommendation, design your policy, your action plan and accessibility strategy in consultation with the people with lived experience disability. You don't want to be somebody that I think this is how it should go. I think you should don't do that. Go to the deaf community and have a kind of advisory panel or people that you can ask advice and ask them, what do they need? What do they need to participate more? What do they need? Start from them, not you imposing it on them. It's not the right way to do it. You'll get better result. Don't hesitate to seek advice to Art Access. Art Access is phenomenal. There's nothing like it in Canada. The staff are fantastic. They're welcoming, knowledgeable. They'll do everything to help. So please don't hesitate. They will support you to make things happen. They've been a great support to me. Don't lose sight of your objective. Whatever happened and all the barrier and all the people will always tell you you can't do this and you shouldn't. There's always a reason why you can't do things. Just don't listen to them and just stick to your objective that you want to make it more accessible and inclusive for all New Zealander and remove all the barriers so they can participate. And I'm the proof that you can do it. But you have to be very strong and have a self-belief that nobody can shake. Think outside the box. Don't be afraid to do things differently. Can I tell you, be courageous. Dare to try new things. Be patient. Step by step, gradual changes are much better. Don't reinvent the wheel. Start from what you have and make the most of it. I'll give you an example. I went to my first audio description that I was invited to was the opera, and it was beautifully set up. They had 3 stages. I had a full stage with 3 stations, decor, costume galore. It was phenomenal. I came back to the ballet and I thought, we're never going to be able to do that because the dancers have priority on stage and they need to do their company class for an hour and a half and then they have to do their warm-up. So I thought, okay, we can have the stage, but how can we do it anyway? So I thought, what's the appeal with the dance is that you can hear the dancer jumping on the floor, on the spring floor. So I thought, why don't we set all the stage and the costume around the stage in the back area and have the pianist playing, and we can still touch and feel all their thing, but still have the feeling of the dancers on stage and hearing them doing their exercise, and then the pianist playing live. So I thought that's ballet. Let's take the essence of ballet and like expose the people to it. So we kind of adapted. I adapted how we're going to do our audio describe for our purpose. So that's a good way to do it. The other thing with ballet is it's all visual. With opera, you have a lot of verbal cues. And how many people have ballet background? So I thought it would be great if we can make sure that we train or we show the people what the terms of ballet are. So we bought some little figurine, put them in jeté and different poses so that the people can feel. And we do like what we call a ballet terminology and dance workshop where people can learn about the movement of ballet so that when there's a script, how many times can you say, and then she twirl and she turn and she jump, then you can use the proper ballet term at the same time. I have to admit the patron, I find this way of doing very refreshing and very different from any other art form. But this is a good example how you adapt it for your art form. The other thing I want to tell you is documentation is very important, especially if you're doing things for the first time, which I've been doing a lot. So take photos, take video footage, even more now after COVID. Add feedback, get impression of the participant live, but also through questionnaire and survey. Get evidence of the impact of your events and the value, the community value of it. And reporting is really crucial. So this is probably my recommendation if somebody was to have a go at doing what I've done. If you're somebody like me that you like on new path that's never been explored before, then I think you're going to have an awesome time like I did. You need the support of the people around you, that's for sure. And I just want to finish. I hope I'm not talking too long. Richard, is it too long? No, okay. I'm just going to finish, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, is I want to share my thought about the COVID and the impact of it. So here we are, the Royal New Zealand Ballet. We've done all of this. Now our theatre is shut. And what can we do? And many of you probably saw that we've been doing for 2 months these broadcasts in the weekends, which have been really popular all over the world. We even done some dance videos that the Dance Educator have done along with that. But the thing that has been the most amazing is thanks to Nicola when in Audio Describe, she contacted me and she said, Pascale, what about audio describing one of the live broadcasts? And I said, oh, another thing that's never been done in the world. And she said, yeah, but we could have a go. So Nicola and I said, why not? This is a very good example. Let's have a go. Let's do it. So we had the live broadcast ready, and then Nicola was going to audio describe live, but the problem was that the patron were going to have 2 devices. So they're going to have a TV or a monitor where they see the live broadcast, and then they would have to have a computer so they can Zoom. And then on the Zoom, they would have the audio, and then they would have the footage on the TV screen. But it was we did it, and we got 100 people because that was the maximum on the Zoom, but it was too complex. So then we thought, okay, we're not going to say no for an answer. We're going to try a different way. So now Nicola Owen is doing an audio describe take, and then we stitch that to the live broadcast footage of the ballet. So it has been amazing, and we reach 1,500 blind people all over the world in the last 3 weekends. And that was only out of something like 7 broadcasts. So this is another proof that if you really want something, and if you fight, you will find a way. And we have people now from America contacting us and saying, you have been inspiring us. You have been helping training our audio describer overseas. So, I mean, I agree with everybody that this COVID-19 has been a terrible time and very unsettling, but how wonderful to have the opportunity to do things like this. And I just want to say that I want all of you to come and join me so that we can continue this fantastic journey of making things more accessible for everybody. So I'll finish with this amazing quote. This dancer in the company who takes part in our relaxed performance, and that's the last slide. And she said, this is my 3rd year doing the Manukau Ballet in a Box relaxed performance, and I look forward to it every year. To see how much joy it brings these children means the world to me. So this is what it meant. So all this work I've done means the world to me. So thank you very much for all the work that everybody's doing. Thank you, everyone.